We move on to talk about Serbia. They stole a point right at the very end against Slovenia to get a point, their first point of this tournament. So we talk about how this group C is gonna finish out. Now regarding that Serbia-Slovenia game, heartbreak for Slovenia. Major heartbreak for Slovenia. I think a Slovenia team that played a very good game in this. Obviously, when it comes to pure talent amongst the squad, this is one of the weaker teams in the tournament. I don't think it's disrespectful to say that, but this is also a team that has good ability to play in transition. They've created a lot of opportunities for themselves at this European Championship. They played some very, very good football, and they got, in terms of goalkeeper and forward, not really the lone striker, but striker and goalkeeper, they could argue two world-class players in that position with Jan Oblak and Benjamin Sesko, which is a good way to build a team when you have that type of, attacker, and then you have that solidifier in the back and a goalkeeper. That's a way to build it up, build up a proper team. And they have, important players at important positions. Now, in this game against Serbia, I thought they were really, really good. I thought there were certain areas and times that they were a really major protagonist. I thought there were certain times Serbia really just were disappointing. They had a lot of possession through the game. They outpossessed them 61-40 or 61-39, but there's a lot of dead possession too. There were certain times that Serbia was able to create, especially near the end. But in terms of domination, like the way I expected the Serbian team, in my opinion, that has huge, huge quality, we didn't really see that from Serbia, which is the thing that makes me a little bit disappointed. And then Serbia found themselves down a goal. And really, to be honest, maybe justifiably so, because I thought, Slovenia was really getting into the game when Zan Karnik slotted home that cross with 20 minutes left. And it would put the Slovenians on the verge of their first European Championship win. And then it would have pushed Serbia basically to elimination. But Jovic rescued Serbia, rescued his country, rescued the nation with basically the last kick of the game, the header, flicked header into the corner, and the atmosphere was absolute electric. The celebrations, the relief, it was absolutely great to see. It's what makes the European Championships great. And by the way, the draw actually ends up benefiting England, who are guaranteed a spot not guaranteed a spot in the knockout stage, but really makes them a lot more comfortable into the knockout stage. It would have guaranteed them a spot in the knockout stage if they beat Denmark, but they weren't able to do that. Yeah, there was certain times Serbia they really disappointed. Their manager Dragan Stojkovic came out and criticized his team after playing against England, saying they showed them too much respect. I don't know if I really saw that. I thought Serbia actually played really well in that game, especially after they conceded the goal. Maybe within the first 15 minutes and how they sat back within the first 15 minutes and didn't have a go out really at England and allowed them to have comfortable control of possession. I think that maybe what he's talking about. If he's talking about in terms of that, then I agree, because I thought they could have started off better. But yeah, overall, I thought this game was better than that, and not better than that, but they created more. But that's bound to happen when you're playing against Slovenia. Now, as far as this result and what it does for this group, it makes it interesting in the fact that the bottom three teams are all separated by a point. Second, third, and fourth, they're all separated by a point, with Denmark and Slovenia having 2 points apiece, and Serbia finishing with 1 point apiece. And England is, top of that group with 4 points because of them being Serbia. But which, by the way, what if they were able, to be honest, Serbia deserved that point in that game. They really should have been able to find that breakthrough. And that would have made this group extremely interesting. If Serbia was able to nick that goal in at the end and get a point out of that game, that would have finished this group, that would put this group in a situation where all teams entered the final game with 2 points. And man, that would have made that group ending so interesting on so many levels. It would have really caused a war in the streets of London. Oh my goodness, if the English did not draw points in that and in this game, wow, that would have been a very interesting time to live as a neutral football fans. But it's no good to talk in hypothetical situations. What is happening now is England is top of that group right now as it stands with 4 points. Denmark, Slovenia are in second and third with 2 points apiece, and then Serbia are last with a point. Serbia take on Denmark in that final game. England take on Slovenia. So it makes it tricky with these three teams, this situation. Now, I think England and Slovenia, I think England has been really, really poor this tournament. But if they struggle to play against Slovenia, just based on the difference in level of quality, front to bottom, man, that really, really, because like Slovenia does not have the quality that Denmark and Serbia pose. They don't. And to be fair, besides Jan Oblak, you couldn't really see any of these Slovenian players get into the squad of England, let alone 11. Benjamin Sesko, can he find his way into the England squad? I think maybe he can find himself in maybe ahead of Ivan Toney potentially. But even then, I think that's not far-fetched, but I think that's a real question mark in my opinion. This is a Slovenian team that's really much weaker in terms of squad ability than England. But again, Serbia and Denmark are weaker opposition to England, and Serbia and Denmark, in my opinion, were outperformed England and and their midfielders outplayed England midfielders. So. Will Slovenia, they can up it up, they can make the thing with Slovenia in this game is, though, chances are more likely than not, depending on what happens with the Serbia-Denmark game, chances are they're going to have to really go for a victory in this game against England, more likely than not. And that's going to make it, interesting. Now, it all depends with this and this and that. I don't know if, I think Slovenia can make it dirty and make it fight against England, but I think it'll take one breakthrough for England, and I don't know if Slovenia really has what it takes to make England pay the way Denmark was able to make them play in terms of quality. So I do think England will, get that victory over Slovenia. Then I think it really comes down to that Denmark-Serbia tie, and I think Denmark will get the victory in this game. I think they'll right their wrong of the last World Cup where they couldn't get the victory when they needed it on the final match day against Australia. I think Denmark has been more impressive than Serbia in this tournament as a whole. I thought Serbia were very lucky to escape that obviously they were very lucky to escape that Slovenia game with a point. I think Denmark has more quality than Slovenia to really make them pay in transition the way that Slovenia couldn't make the Serbia team pay and make this game go away. I think Denmark can do that. I think Serbia will struggle to contain the likes of Christian Eriksen and the likes of Yusuf Poulsen and Jonas Wind and Rasmus Højlund. And I think Pierre Højbjerg and Eriksen will do a good job in controlling that midfield. I think they'll have controlled the possession of the game and really limit the opportunities Dusan Tadic has on time on the ball to really make a play for the Serbians. I think Serbia will be a little bit on the back foot. I think overall Denmark has more experience than them, has more quality, not more quality, but more, I believe in their ability. I think Denmark's are very, very good defensively too, with Jan Andersen, Vestergaard, Christensen. I think they match up well with the likes of Serbia because they have the size to match up with Mitrovic. I can see an opportunity. I can see a change because Mitrovic has not been up to his best at this European Championship. I can see Stojkovic change it up and put Mitrovic in the bench and play Vlahovic loan up top, or even bring in a guy like a Jovic, who ended up scoring that goal to push to give the point to Serbia, because I don't think Mitrovic will be dominant aerially going up against Vestergaard, Anderson, Christensen. I think they have a lot of size, especially with Vestergaard in there. They have the tallest team at this tournament. I think Mitrovic, with his ability to be direct, it won't be much of a factor going up against this Danish back line. So maybe you want to go with the finesse and the quality of the likes of Vlahovic or Jovic. I don't, but if he does go with Mitrovic, Don Stojkovic, I think that fits in with that plays into Denmark's hand, because they don't have to worry about a striker that can really, dribble past them. They just need to be physical, which they will be. They need to, win aerial duels, which they can, and I think that plays into their hands. So yeah, I think Denmark wins that group, or not wins the group. They move on with England, but England, they could, England are, let's get this clear. England are the only team in that group that's safe from elimination. England are the only team that's safe from elimination, because they have 4 points, and 4 points more likely than not with these third place teams is enough to get you through. The rest of those 3 teams, they could all either get eliminated, or they could or any of them could move on, and that's what we want to see at these European Championship. And when in these tournaments, in these major international tournaments, if you're a team on the fringe, if you're a team that's, is not a guarantee to get into the groups, to get into the knockout stage. If the expectation is that it'll be a little bit of a struggle to get into the knockout stage, or you really have to dig in, then the main goal with these first 2 games is to at least push it to the third game. And Serbia and Denmark, to an extent, they did that. They were able to extend it to the third game, and now they make this match day 3 very interesting to end off that group.